Hey everyone, welcome to the Rebellious Garden and Flower Farm. My name is Laura and I'm so glad you're here today. We are going to be planting out the Ranunculus. If you remember a couple weeks ago, I pre-sprouted, or at least I started the pre-sprouting process for my Ranunculus, and I told you I'd do another video updating you on their progress and what that looks like, and then when I plant them out, and it is now 10 days later, so that is what we're going to do today. If you missed that video, be sure to go back and look. But here is one tray of my pre-sprouts. And not always will you actually have greenery showing. Sometimes you'll just have the roots. But I have the labels here. I have my rose, the pastel mix, pink, shades of pink, and orange here. And my rose and my orange do not have the actual leaves emerging. But hopefully, digging down gently, we'll find the corms with roots. So I've just been keeping the soil slightly moist over the past 10 days and have had them sitting in light. Not light, but just in darkness. There we go. Had a hard time finding it. So just a quick review. You want to soak the corms for 4 hours in just some room temperature water. Put them in soil, lightly cover them, and then 10 days later, you can plant them out in the garden. Pre-sprouting just helps you get like a little head start. But you see, I actually have some little roots formed here. I'm trying to be really careful because I really don't want to damage any of these guys. There's another one. This one has roots coming out too. So that's what they look like. Kind of dig down over here. Ranunculus are cool season flowers, so where I'm at in zone AA, we actually plant them out in the winter time, or like fall, and then they will bloom late winter, early spring. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put like a low tunnel with frost fabric over top of the corms when I plant them out, just to give them a little bit of extra protection during the winter time if we do have a few harsher days. But it don't get too bad here, thankfully. Check this one out. This one did really well. Look at that. So I'm stop digging through right now so I don't get them mixed up. So I'm gonna take you out to the garden and we'll start planting these. All right, I have you sitting in my bed of sweet peas. So hopefully you can see the light's not too funky. You can definitely see my shadow. So right up here in the front of the house, I have like an area cleared out. You saw me do, oof, I had to pull myself down. I have an area cleared out that I was going to turn into a big flower bed. So that is what we are doing here. So I'm going to plant Ranunculus up here. And then I'm going to probably plant some in the backyard here as well, or backyard as well. Up here will definitely be good for the winter growing because Ranunculus like plenty of sunshine. They want full sun, but like I said earlier, they do not like a lot of heat. And the front of my house is south facing, so there is a gracious plenty of heat here during the summer months. So these will be done blooming when the heat starts getting intense. But what I'm going to try to do is in the backyard where I get plenty of sunshine, but it's still partially shaded. I'm going to try to plant some Ranunculus there in the springtime, hoping that maybe, just maybe, we will have some late spring blooms as well. And apparently I didn't pin down my landscape fabric right here, so I can just pull it back while I'm planting this stuff out. Okay, so I'm gonna have to stand back up and get over there because I don't think y'all want to see me like full frame in the video, blocking the view. But I'm gonna move my camera over here, stand back up, and get over there where we can get the ranunculus planted a little bit better. So I ended up putting my landscape fabric back against the brick, and I just cut a straight line down it and laid mulch on the area that was against the brick. Ooh, yellow jacket. Me and yellow jackets don't get along. Oh, go away, please. Please go away. Ah. Okay, it's gone. Sorry about that. So I just have kind of a space cut right here, and ranunculus only have to be planted about 2 inches deep. So I'm just going to kind of scrape out some dirt. So they're 2 inches deep, about 4 inches apart. And where I'm at, they're hardy. So zone 8, they are hardy. So I can leave these in the ground and they should be fine year round. Obviously, because I'm planting in the fall. I'm just grabbing my pre-sprouted ones, making sure not to miss any. Wow, that has a huge root structure. Bear with me. Ugh, bear with me. Check out that. That has huge root structure. So these have just been growing for 10 days. Typically you will get blooms within 90 days of planting. So that's why we'll most likely have flowers late winter here. I just want to measure. I'm not good at measurements, like eyeballing stuff. Okay. So I'm just going to put the root right here in this little trench I dug. Space them about 4 inches apart. So, okay. Eyeballing it at this point. There we go. I'll make sure to label these. And when you plant these out, you don't want them to be in soil that stays super wet and soggy throughout the year. They don't like to be soaking wet all the time. I wish I had some extra soil just to throw on top of them, just for some added nutrients. Ooh, I got 3 left I'll have to keep going the other way with. I'll be right back. I'm back. I just wanted to throw a little bit of rich soil around it, some garden soil, and it's okay if there's sprouts that they're buried a little bit. That should be fine. And then I'm just going to mulch around it, not on top of it, but just around it. And I'll add a little bit more mulch when things start really cooling off around here, just to give it a little bit of extra protection. So I'm going to put another one right where you're sitting at, and then I'm going to move down to another row and go from there. Oh, sorry, I couldn't find my marker because I was sitting on it. So when you're planting stuff out, always make sure to label it. I am terrible about labeling stuff, but I am trying really hard to get better about it. So I am going to stick this right here. I'm not going to have it facing the sun because I don't want the sun to destroy my label quite so quickly, at least. Even the best intentions. Okay, so I'm going to come up one more row and repeat the process. I'll do it slow. And then from there I'll put you on a time lapse. That way you can see it done much more fast. But I'm going to see how many of these I have. Go ahead and set them to the side. Oh, that is so cool. Alright, so I just planted pink. Now I'm planting shades of pink. Can you even see it? I'm way too close. There we go. Shades of pink. Just digging around, see if I'm missing any corms, because I can't remember how many of each I planted. I planted like random numbers. And I didn't plant all of the corms that I had because I wanted to save some for trying out in the spring, because I've never done it before and I really want to try it. So I'm going to plant them offset. So I have 2 plants right here, and I'm going to kind of go in a triangle down and plant another one there. You can fit more plants into a small space by using an offset planting method. So just dig down a little bit. I'm actually going to take some of this mulch piled up and toss it to the side to create some space. That way this don't get all piled up. I had to look and make sure I didn't have it planted where the rain hits. So one thing that I did do, and you'll notice on this patch of moss there's a little pink part. What I did one day when it was raining was I came out here and I looked at where the roof overhang and where the rain hits the grass at, or the dirt. So the rain hits the dirt between these two plants, so they should be fine. And this area doesn't flood. The other part of my landscape area on the front of the house floods out, and the water doesn't soak in very fast. And so if I were planting over there, I would need to be very careful about where I planted and what I planted. I would need to plant something that was water loving, more so in certain areas over there. Alright, put some good soil around it, pack it in, and put a little bit of mulch around you. Alright, so that is my shades of pink. Trying so hard to do this quickly, but I'm not very good at it. Toss that over there. Also, mulch is not very comfortable to sit on. I went and got me a towel to sit on because it's not comfortable at all. Sticking out tonight, yeah. Oops. Have to be careful where I'm throwing my tools down at. There we go. Try to see if you can see that. I'll have it sat down in there. I'm sorry if you guys are like cattywampus and leaning sideways, but you're sitting on mulch. Alright, give you a little surround. Once I get all these planted in, I'm not going to put anything right here in this offset spot because that is where the rain hits, so I don't want to do that. So I will go over one, but once I get everything planted in really well, I will come back through, give it a good little water. And I'll just monitor how much rain we get each week and the temperatures, because I mean right here at the beginning of November the temperatures are staying cool for the most part, at least cool for eastern North Carolina. We're actually having somewhat of a proper fall this time. Usually we just go from super hot to winter in the snap of a finger, but we've actually had a proper fall this year. I have quite enjoyed it. But like I was saying, we'll just monitor the moisture, and if it needs a little extra rain during the upcoming weeks before it gets its roots established really well, then we'll toss in some extra water for it. But that is one thing I love about fall and winter crops, especially like vegetable crops in the garden. You don't have the weed pressure like you normally do. Get you over here a little bit closer. You don't have the weed pressure like you do in most gardens in the summertime. So you spend a lot less time out in the garden having to tend to it, which is nice, especially after you're exhausted from doing it all summer long. But in the wintertime, you'll have less weeds, you have less pests, and you have more moisture, so you don't have to water as often. But there are my shades of pink. Oops. I'm just writing my label real quick. I usually have this done before I come out. I'll put you right there. There we go. All right, so now I'll put you on time lapse while I finish the rest of it. Sat on a pine cone. That was not comfy. Ignore the look. It got hot out here real quick. Like I was just saying, November is fairly cool / mild, but there's always that occasional day where it gets warm really fast. Oh my goodness. Y'all fell over. Stand by. Alright, can you stay upright? I'm just asking. Okay, so I planted what I planted up front. Got those done. Now I am in back. Got hair in my mouth. At the new garden bed. And I'm going to plant some ranunculus right up front. Try to get this leveled off a little bit. This soil is really wet right now because I just dumped it from a bag that was soaking wet from the rain that we had the other day. So I don't think I'm going to water this in, but I'm going to put my 45 days of blooms in right here. So I'm just going to kind of pull them out, sit them right beside you. When you're handling the corms though, you have to be really careful, be really gentle, because they are fragile. They will break so easily. If you ask me how I know, I broke 3 up front earlier trying to get them planted. And this is an issue I'm running into quite a bit. Several of the corms, I don't know how well you can see that. See that right there? They're molding. I don't know if I had too much moisture in here or what. Like I said, not all of your corms will be sprouted out of the dirt. You'll have some root and then just a little bit of growth. But I don't know if the mold is from too much moisture in my tray. Maybe there was something wrong with the corm itself. But I am not planting those out. There's really no point in it. That's what I love to see. Okay, so 45 days of blooms. Ouch. Pine straw being mean back here. Thankfully, with this, I don't have to dig too deep and I don't have to fight with the landscape fabric. That's one thing I love about raised beds. They're so much easier to deal with. Alright, have a little trench. I'm turning Try to turn you. There you go. Gosh, these gnats are terrible. Alright, I'm gonna get you down in here, my friend. Try to keep you about 4 inches apart. Ish. Give you a little surround. Like I said earlier, I'll put some little hoops, like a little low tunnel over these. I'll do that this upcoming week because the temps are still supposed to be pretty decent. But I'll put some hoops over these and just some frost fabric. I use Agribon. I think it's AG19 is what we used last year, and it worked really well. I was able to keep like lettuce going most of the winter and a few other things that are frost tolerant, but when you have like consistent days and nights of frost and freezing temperatures, they may not be the happiest after a little bit, but it kept the lettuce going for a really long time. All right, I'm just gonna write my label and put 45 days, and I'm gonna put it right here. That way I know that this row and this row is 45 days. Woo. Now my purple ones that I started, man, they look good. They look so good. Oh, look at those. Can't remember where I got the purple ones from. I'll have to go back and look at my notes. I always keep notes on the stuff that you're buying, like where they came from, where you ordered them from, because sometimes some companies may have really fancy, great looking websites, but then their products are not the best quality. So if that's the case, you may not want to order from them again. So I try to keep up with who I order stuff from. That way, if consistently I have issues, not just a 1 year thing, because everyone has a bad year every once in a while, but if I consistently have issues, then I can be like, maybe we shouldn't order from there anymore. Oh gosh, dirt, pine straw, mulch, everything's attacking me. Okay, I'm just gonna set these in here. So the ranunculus don't require deep planting. If y'all wonder why I'm keep going, it's because of the gnats. They are attacking these guys. I hope they thrive out here, because I think these are some of the most beautiful flowers. Absolutely gorgeous, and you get a lot of great value for your investment because you get multiple blooms off of one stem. Not one stem, but like one plant. It's not like a tulip where you get one flower and you're done. With these, you get multiple flowers off of one plant. I gotta get up. Ooh. All right, over here and finish these out. Fight the gnats. Whew. That's worked out pretty well then. So this corn developed some good roots, but it didn't start sprouting yet. So I'm just gonna put it down there. And like I always do over my garden when I start planting out, I'll pray over it. Ooh, he went sideways. There we go. All right, we're done. Those were purple. All right, my little label. Purple. Critters. All right, there we go. So these aren't all of my ranunculus. Give me 1 second. So like I said, these aren't all of our ranunculus. I have Chimelo in the house that I just started pre-sprouting this past week. So those will be ready to go out towards the end of this week. I'm excited about those. They are beautiful. They are white with just like a hint of like a pinky purple green, if that makes any sense. Absolutely gorgeous. Excited about those. So I'll plant those out, and I have some more on the way that I'll pre-sprout and get planted out as well. And I think I might experiment with just soaking the corms for the 4 hours and then planting them straight out without pre-sprouting, because I like to experiment, try new things, and you always need to do that to see what works best for your garden and the environment that you live in. So always learn new things, always try and experiment with new things and see what works best with your garden. So I will keep you guys posted on this progress, let you know how it does. Fingers crossed. Like I said, I've never grown these before, but I'm so excited about them. They are absolutely gorgeous. Well, that is it for today. I'm gonna take me and my wild head of hair inside and go hang out with the kids for a little bit, maybe stare at all the little seedlings that are growing in the house as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you come back to see me again, and I hope you have a blessed day.